What if you could turn your body into a place where cancer cells struggle to survive? Well, that's one of the promises behind the keto diet. And it's why more and more people are turning to keto, not just for quick weight loss, but as an effective strategy to lower inflammation, balance blood sugar levels, and prevent cancer. But here's the thing. There are very different versions of the keto diet, some healthy and some not. You can eat bacon all day and get to a state of ketosis, or you could do a healthier version of keto and still eat a variety of fruits and vegetables. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through a healthy version of keto step by step, from how to get into a state of ketosis, how to tell when you're in it, and how to stay in it long enough to reap all the benefits without wanting to give up. Wow. Oh, and stick with me till the end, because I'll be giving you a loophole that makes keto a whole lot easier to do long term. So let's start with the biggest question. How does the keto diet actually help to fight or prevent cancer? Well, most cancer cells, especially aggressive ones, are addicted to sugar or glucose. They love using it as their main source of energy so they can grow. And unfortunately, our modern diets are full of hidden sugars that create high sugar, high insulin environments in our body where cancer cells can thrive. In fact, 1 in 3 adults in the US are insulin resistant, and nearly 50% have diabetes or prediabetes. So if you go from eating bread and pasta and rice and potatoes every day to the keto diet, where you drastically cut out sugar and carbs, it forces your body to stop relying on glucose for energy and to start burning fat instead. Now, when your body breaks down fat, it produces ketones. And when these ketones become your new source of fuel, here's the kicker. Cancer cells struggle to use ketones for energy at all. Your healthy cells can use it perfectly fine, but cancer cells struggle to survive on it. Now, sure, this all sounds great, but keto isn't necessarily as easy as it sounds. To do it properly, you have to be diligent about what you're eating and actually getting into a state of ketosis, and staying there isn't always easy either. There's plenty of good, plenty of bad, and plenty of ugly. So I want to make sure you're starting off on the right foot and doing keto in a healthy way. Let's start with how to actually get into state of ketosis and stay there, because this is where most people get confused. You can't just eat steak and butter all day. I mean, you can, but there's a much healthier way to do it. And once you understand the process, it gets a whole lot easier. First, you need to get your body to a point where it starts burning fat instead of sugar. The keto diet is low carb, moderate amounts of protein, and high amounts of healthy fats. So around 70% of your daily calories are going to come from it. And it also means cutting your daily carb intake down to a very low amount, usually around 20 grams of net carbs a day, or around 5% of your daily calories. So net carbs means the total amount of carbs minus the fiber. For example, let's say a serving of vegetables has 5 grams of total carbs and 3 grams of fiber. That means it'll have 2 grams of net carbs. And yes, you still definitely do want to be eating certain fruits and vegetables, like non-starchy veggies or low sugar fruits. They're full of antioxidants, essential nutrients that your body needs to stay healthy, and fiber. Fiber is so important for so many reasons, like cancer prevention. So by eating low carb veggies like mushrooms, broccoli, or kale, and low sugar, high fiber fruits like berries, you can still get your fiber in and stay in ketosis. Now you may be wondering, what is a moderate amount of protein? And this is where a lot of people go wrong. So eating too much protein can actually kick you out of ketosis, because your body can convert it into glucose if you eat too much of it. Well, With that being said, not eating enough protein is an even bigger risk, especially if you're recovering from cancer or treatment, or if you're active or lift weights, or even if you're over 40 and you're trying to maintain or build muscle, your body needs protein. So what's the sweet spot on the keto diet? Well, a moderate amount of protein is around 8 grams per pound of body weight. That's a good, but very general range. But with keto, what's important is that you space it out through the day. Avoid these glucose spikes. So if you're eating around 20 grams of net carbs a day, a moderate amount of protein, and lots of high quality healthy fat, how long does it take of eating this way to actually get into ketosis? Well, if you're doing properly, typically around 2 to 4 days, but it can vary a bit depending on your activity level, your metabolism, or whether or not you do intermittent fasting. That can make a huge difference. Intermittent fasting, even with, say, just a 16 to 8 schedule where you're eating first only 8 hours a day and fasting for 16 hours a day. This can really speed up the process of entering ketosis. I know that when you first start the keto diet, you want to start cutting carbs and getting into ketosis as quickly as possible. But again, there's a healthy way and an unhealthy way of doing it. And it's often referred to as clean keto versus dirty keto. Dirty keto is when, sure, you meet your low carb, high fat requirements. But with unhealthy food, we're talking bunless cheeseburgers, processed meats, or packaged keto friendly snacks. This is exactly what you don't want, especially for cancer prevention. They're full of inflammatory seed oils, artificial sweeteners, or low quality meats. Sure, this might keep you in ketosis, but your cells will be swimming in inflammation. So you're really not doing yourself any favors. Clean keto, on the other hand, is when you eat real whole foods that your body can easily digest and use to heal. Now, it's healthy fats like olive oil, avocado oil, ghee, or grass-fed butter, pasture-raised grass-fed meats, and wild-caught fish, low-carb fruits, and veggies, and high antioxidant foods like berries, herbs, and spices. Eating these foods will not only help you to stay in ketosis, but also keep your gut healthy, lower inflammation, and help to regulate your hormones. So how do you know if you've actually made it into ketosis? Well, there are a few signs. You may notice you're suddenly not as hungry as often. Your mental clarity may also improve. You may notice weight loss, mostly from water, not fat, right away. And some people even get kind of metallic taste to them. You do start losing a lot of water and can become dehydrated because carbs hold on to water in your body. And when they're eliminated, the water goes too. But unfortunately, along with it, you also lose electrolytes like sodium, potassium, and magnesium. That's why a lot of people get the keto flu in the first few days, where you feel headache, heat, tired, and maybe even nauseous. So just drink a lot of water and even consider taking an electrolyte supplement. But the best way to know for sure if you're in ketosis is to do a test. There are 3 ways to test for this. Test your breath, your urine, or your blood. And the easiest and cheapest way to do it is to just buy some keto testing strips that you pee on. Now, these aren't extremely accurate long-term, but you don't need to keep testing yourself forever. You'll start recognizing how you feel when you're in ketosis. But in the beginning, it can be super helpful to know if all these changes you're making are working. Even after the first 2 to 4 days of being in ketosis, your body adapts to fat burning more efficiently. You also may have less cravings for sweets, and your insulin sensitivity starts to improve significantly. But for optimal results, especially for metabolic healing, it typically takes around 6 to 12 weeks of consistent ketosis. This is when your inflammation markers really start to drop, your energy levels stabilize, and you'll likely start to notice some fat loss. Now, getting into ketosis is one thing, but actually staying there long term is another, especially in today's food culture. This is where the real challenges lie. Now, to be honest, you don't have to be too rigid about all this. Just be as consistent as you can. And something that really helps with this, to plan ahead. Meal prepping helps a lot, so you don't reach for fast food when life gets crazy or stressful. Eating out can also be tricky. Most restaurants will let you 7 veggies over potatoes or skip the bun, but you may have to plan ahead and avoid restaurants that don't. So here's something interesting. Remember at the beginning of the video, I told you there's a loophole to make a keto a whole lot easier long-term. Well, long-term keto isn't ideal for everyone. While the keto diet does have many benefits, staying in ketosis for too long can actually create hormonal imbalances, slow down fat loss, and negatively impact. If your body fat gets too low, your brain senses a threat to survival. So it slows down your fat metabolism. Basically, it wants to hold on to fat when your supplies get too low. Prolonged ketosis can also have a negative impact on your thyroid hormones, estrogen, and testosterone levels. Not good. So what's the solution? 2 words: metabolic flexibility. It's teaching your body to switch between fat burning and glucose burning as needed. So once you get used to doing the keto diet, you can experiment with something called cyclical keto. This means after a few months of strict keto, you start taking a day every week or so where you eat more carbs or protein, but still with whole foods like maybe sweet potatoes or quinoa. What this does is it refills your glycogen stores and it gives you some metabolic flexibility without fully kicking you out of ketosis. The keto diet can be really powerful, but it's not for everyone. And so if you have any underlying health conditions, please run it by your doctor first. But keto isn't just another low-carb diet trend. It can be a metabolic strategy. As long as it's done in a healthy way, it can shift your body into a state where you get rid of inflammation, insulin resistance, and take away the main source of fuel for any precancerous cells lingering. Now, if you found this video helpful, please be sure to subscribe because I have more videos coming your way on fasting, nutrition, and how to heal from the inside out. And if you've tried keto before, drop a comment below and let us know what worked for you or what challenges you faced.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.